I'm live on Facebook.
You are?
I is.
Okay.
Crystal's getting us live on her Instagram. Which I'm not in it.
You're not in. Here, scoot in.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Boy, we're coming in close here.
Gotta see your face. We're squeezing in. We're doing a long ways and a wide way. Wide on Sean's. So we're live on Facebook and Instagram, just letting you guys know if you're wondering why we're looking all over the place.
I'm gonna look up there.
Okay.
You can look up. You can look down there.
Okay.
No, it's
Hi.
weird.
Hi, you guys.
Did you put a filter on Insta? What is
Yeah, we look really good on Instagram.
I don't believe in filters. So what's up? What's up, you guys? Thanks for being with us.
Hi.
How are we going to introduce this? So I think we should introduce this by, first of all, just talking about our stages of progression. So for instance, we have not been putting out a lot of information for our post-religious community that we started, mainly because we've just been preoccupied with other things, business things, which is all good things. But we wanted to, we as a service to that community, we want to keep sharing what's really important around post-religion. So we're almost 3 years now. We're almost 3 years. It's hard to believe that much time has passed. But, Crystal, if we were to talk about the stages of what we went through, how would you define that? There was a time of immense grief for Crystal. There was a time of immense anger for me. And then, and it lasted a long time, I think. I think for 2 years, I was just in this place of, I needed to ensure that I made the right decision for myself. I needed to I wanted to be understood by other people. Especially my loved ones. I wanted so desperately for them to understand me. I wanted them to see what I saw, not believing that they have to operate or believe as I did, but believing that, or feeling that, at least they might understand the decisions that we've made and so on. There was a period of time there where I think we got out of control. If I'm being honest, there's a period of time there where we just got angry and bitter, and
we were definitely being led by some lower emotions of anger and frustration.
Yeah. So it's so interesting because if I were to say what I was going through for 2 years, it was my predominant thinking. It was my predominant motivate. In fact, maybe this video will just be about this because
how we've
just where we're at now
yeah.
and where we came from, because that's going to take enough time. But for me personally,
so for those of you who've just joined, just update, we're talking about how we are now since leaving our religion about 3 years ago, kind of the process that we've gone through.
Yeah. I just want to admit that for 2 years, for 2 years for sure, I was obsessed with everything about it. I was just absolutely consumed by it all. I was serving others, which felt good. I was helping and supporting others. And that part, I think we found a lot of meaning and purpose in that. But I was also, there was this other part that was unhealthy. And that was me constantly looking for further evidence that I'd done the right thing or made the right decision or further validation. And it just was never enough. And it was all we wanted to talk about. It's all we wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
And what's so interesting for me, and then I'll let you share how you're feeling, but for me, personally, it's the most interesting phenomenon because it's not what I want to focus on anymore. Now, if you were to say, does that mean you're not going to support that community anymore of post-religious people that you'd started? Not at all. In fact, I feel very drawn to it, and I'm actually feeling frustrated because I want to give that more time. I just love the people, and there's a need there, huge need, because what happens is when beliefs are stripped away from people, beliefs that they had, been taught their entire life, and it's so, there's so much depth here. You have no idea.
Layers and layers of things that we have to work through.
So, people often say, well, what do you believe now? I believe you can be a good person without religion. I know that's the case, but I kind of knew that before. Like, even as a religious person in my faith, I knew that there was people who were not in my faith that were good people. And I also knew there was people that didn't subscribe to any religion that were very, very good people with morals, with ethics, with integrity. A lot of them had more morals and ethics and integrity than a lot of the religious people I was, encountering and dealing with. So, I think one of the most common questions people ask me is like, well, what do you believe now, right? So maybe I'll answer that, and then I'll let you share your feelings and thoughts of how you're... Crystal and I have this dynamic where she likes me to do a lot of talking because she feels like it helps her things flow and it helps her, but then sometimes I'm like, wait a minute, I'm doing all the talking here. And she's just like,
I like what you're saying.
Yeah, but I'm like, okay, but it's your turn.
Yeah. Well, I think that you and I have kind of gone up and down as far as our the things that we are processing, first of all, and then where we're at as far as how we've moved on, and then even around our beliefs. And we've talked about this on the podcast, how we thought we were always of the same belief, but what I'm coming to realize is that we have always been in a mixed faith marriage, and I think we just had this false belief that we were always in alignment around the way we see the world. And even in the religion, here, Scoot, you're not in, make sure you're with me.
I don't care about this Instagram.
Just Instagram. We have always seen the world differently, and that can be challenging in a relationship, but overall, in relationships with other people, within your family, your extended family. We just have to accept that we all have a different lens. We all see the world differently, and we don't need to be obsessively trying to convince people of the way it is, because it's just not worth our time and energy, because they will never see it exactly the way you see it. So the only thing we can do is really just go at it with the approach of, how can we learn from each other? How can I step into your shoes, step into your world for a minute, just to see if I can have empathy and understanding of the way you're seeing things? But that doesn't mean that we have to agree. And I think that's probably one of our biggest learning or understandings as we've gone through this process in our relationship, but also, associating with other people that are, in our family or still in the religion, trying to get to this place of just empathy, understanding, tolerance, and no more are we trying to convince people of this is right, we're right, you're wrong. It's just so hard to do that, and it's ineffective. And I think that's one of our biggest lessons that we learned, that it's really ineffective to go about it in this argumentative way, trying to convince people to see it our way.
Totally. And we were there for a long time, not even necessarily trying to convince people of anything, but just trying to feel validated.
Yeah.
Just trying to validate others. And you know what? I think security would have a certain look to it. I think it would. I think an individual who's secure in themselves, they don't have to constantly be telling you how great they are. And they don't constantly have to be showing you how much they know. And they don't constantly have to be demonstrating their everything to you. Someone who is secure, I'm trying to teach my children this because, you know, teenagers can be know-it-alls, and someone who's really secure in their own beliefs and in their own thoughts, they don't even need to defend themselves. Like, they don't even need to. I can actually, I've got to a place now where I can hear someone else's views and I don't need to offer mine. Like, it doesn't mean anything. Does this make sense? Like, I can listen to them and they're very sure of their beliefs, and they're very sure of their way of seeing the world or politics or what have you, whatever it is. And I can actually be sitting there and thinking in the back of my mind that I don't agree with any of this. But I don't have to say it. I don't even have to voice it, because what good does that do besides ruffling feathers and, you know, making people irritable towards me, making me irritable. That's one of the things that I have found more recently as I've reclaimed my health. I've found that my energy, I am drawn to good things. I am drawn to creativity. I am drawn towards opportunity, and I'm drawn towards the right kinds of people naturally. And when I'm in a place of resentment, which I was for so long, I didn't even realize how bad it was. But when I'm in a place, I didn't realize it. And I'm sorry for any of you that had to endure the Sean.
The wrath of Sean's anger.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm
But
sorry.
that's
And you
okay,
know what?
too.
I look
Like,
back on it.
It's a process, and I don't want there to be any judgment or shame either, because I just think that that's how we process sometimes. We have to let it all out, and that was your process. Just get it all out there.
I don't regret it. I don't regret.
Yeah.
I don't regret most things. I don't regret the anger. I don't regret the time. Well, wait, because now I'm actually having this thought, like, do I regret all the time? I do regret all the time hashing out, like, ancient religious dogma. Like, ancient...
The doctrine part.
Right. I regret that. That's not worth my time. That is up to each individual to dig in for themselves and decide for themselves. And you know what? The internet's right there. You know, the internet's right there. And if that's your game and you love history and you love, you know, doctrinal things and you love all that kind of formality, if that's your thing, I'm not going to say anything's wrong with you because that's your thing. But that has never been my thing, and how I spent so much time in that space, digging through all that and debating that. And you know, I do regret that time, because I look back on it and I was like, whoa, wait, like, I'm 40 years old. That's a lot of time. And I can't get that time back now on this earth. And you only get one life as far as we know. And you only get one body as far as we know. You know, if you were to ask me, I'm just so grateful to be out of that place of resentment. Yeah. Because now I feel growth. I feel growth. I feel positivity. I feel creativity. I feel abundance. I feel joy. And I feel fulfilled. I feel vision, direction, purpose, meaning. But
it's just a powerless place to be when you're consumed with those, like those types of emotions, the anger and the resentment. It's just not very empowering. You just feel like you have, it's almost like we believe that on some level, but we might be able to, like, change people or change the way they see things, but then when they don't, we're just like, it's not working. And then we just feel like, so unempowered. So yeah, I think now we're in a place of empowerment. And
I'll throw something out there for you, because I just don't want this to be another boring, mundane video for you. Not that Crystal's boring. She's not boring. I want to tell you guys something about me. I only have a few minutes, but I want to tell you guys something about me that is the honest truth. I never felt a relationship with Jesus Christ. Whoa, room went quiet.
Crickets.
And I don't say that in a disrespectful way. I know a lot of people revere Jesus Christ. They honor him. He's the Messiah. He's the Savior. He's, you know, the atonement, all of this. I get it all. I understand it all. I've read it all. But I have to tell you, I never felt a relationship with Jesus Christ. Now, with that said, what does that mean about me? What I've come to find is that when I tell people that in private setting, it offends them. That confuses me personally, because just because I was born in Utah, just because I was born in a Christian climate, just because I was born, Christianity is not the biggest religion in the world. Islam is the biggest religion in the world, the Muslim faith. But I'm very much looked down upon. I lose people's respect when I say that. I don't understand that. I can't comprehend it. Just because I don't believe that story, just because I don't believe that I was born broken, because I don't believe that I was, inherently flawed, and I don't believe in the whole story of Adam and Eve. I don't believe it. I'm not an atheist. I don't know what I am. We can get into that another day, but as of right now, I don't believe there's anyone on this earth that knows of a surety why we're here. That much is what I believe. And because look at all the religions, it's crazy. There's over 1,700 and they all think they're right. And wherever you're born is probably what religion you're going to be, conveniently. And then, who's right, who's wrong. They're all fighting about it. They all, have insecurities because they defend it to the death. It doesn't look right. Like, if you're secure in your beliefs, you don't need to fight for them. You don't need to defend them. None of that. You just believe it. Yeah. But what I never felt was, a connection to Jesus or God. And I prayed my whole life. And I think I'm a good person. And I hope someone out there takes this from this. I feel like I'm a good person. And for the longest time, I didn't feel like I was a good person. And the reason I didn't feel like I was a good person was because inherently in my heart, I didn't believe any of that. And yet, I was led to believe that if I didn't believe any of that, or if any of that wasn't important to me or didn't resonate with me, that something was inherently wrong with me. Will you tell me, is something wrong with me? Does Satan have a hold of me? Am I damned? I don't believe that. I don't. And I'm not a bad person, and I'm not hurting people. So now we have to ask ourselves, one of the greatest connections I ever draw is I feel drawn to to people who are gay. Because you can actually look at someone who's gay and you can actually tell them from the time they're a child that there's something wrong with you. What's wrong with me? Well, you're supposed to like the opposite sex. And they're going, but that's not what I feel. And then you're going to tell them because of ancient religious dogma that there's something wrong with them, and that if they seek out love in this life, genuine, true, legitimate love, that they're damned, they're sinning. I don't believe it. And just as I don't believe I'm a bad person. And so the world needs to change, and it hasn't changed enough, and hopefully it keeps changing. But someone like me, I should not be afraid to tell people that I don't believe that Jesus Christ is my Messiah or my Savior. And I was raised Christian, very much. And I shouldn't be afraid to say that. And I shouldn't feel like arrows are going to come at me and I'm going to lose respect. I'm going to lose adoration. I shouldn't feel that. And yet I felt that my entire life. And I would fake it and fake it and fake it and fake it. And I would get up on a pulpit with a microphone and I would say, I would lie. I would lie because of all the pressure, all the peer pressure, political pressure, social pressure. What kind of a world is that? It's not the world I want my kids to grow up in. I've got to run. I'm going to let Crystal close this out. I'm glad I didn't get more emotional than that, actually. I've been thinking about doing this video and just sharing that alone for a very, very long time. I hope you can appreciate that this doesn't change who I am. I'm Sean. I'm an honest person. I don't hurt people. I don't steal. I don't break the law. I'm not immoral. I'm not a druggie. I'm a good person. Same person I've always been.
Yeah.
And, you know.
A good dad, a good husband.
So anyway, love you guys. Crystal's going to wrap this up because I've got to go and meet someone like right now. But yeah, your thoughts around that, all of that.
I just wanted to close by saying that as far as my beliefs go, I don't feel like I will ever want to say again that I know this to be true. And I don't need that anymore. I always felt like I needed that, especially right after we left. I was like, I need to find the truth. If this isn't the truth, then what is the truth? And I was desperate to find it. And Sean was such a good example in that way. He's just like, why do you need to know? And I had to settle into that. And it took me time, but I really started to understand how it's okay to say you don't know. It's okay to not know. And it's okay to not spend your life trying to just find out all the answers to life. I still love learning. I love learning about religions. I love learning about personal development. I love learning about all different theories. I'm not closing my mind off to anything. I'm just opening up to all of it. And I love it and I appreciate it. I still appreciate the story of Jesus Christ. I still get fascinated by, people talking about extraterrestrials and other planets and life on other planets. I am just open to all of it and I'm fascinated by all of it, but I don't have to say this is true. This is absolutely true. So that's where I'm at, and it's such a beautiful, empowering place to be. And I've just dropped into this place of it's okay. I don't have to know. I don't have to say if I believe in Christ or not. I don't feel the need to say it. And I like being in that space where, I don't have to really have an opinion about Jesus Christ. I could just be like, a good story. I could believe in him. I could not. It doesn't matter to me. I just want to live in a way where I can just be open to all of it and tolerant and accepting, and just in this space of wanting more, wanting to learn from everybody. So thank you guys so much for watching, for being on. Sorry, our eyes are just kind of up and down because Sean's got his phone and I've got my phone. He's live on Facebook, I'm live on Instagram. But anyway, I sure appreciate you guys and see you soon.